7:45.
The time check was brought to you by Seiko.
And welcome back to TVB News. One person has been killed in a fire in a house in Pat Heng in Yuen Long. Police are calling it arson. The fire broke out at around 10:30 this morning. Authorities said there were subdivided units inside the structure that housed mainly refugees from overseas. It took firefighters 40 minutes to put out the blaze. Officers found a body inside. Sources say the victim was a Sri Lankan man in his 30s who had lived there for about 5 years. Well, a new survey shows that some wet market stalls claiming to sell organic vegetables may be deceiving customers. Apart from failing to display any labels or certificates, in at least one case, a stall was found to be mixing certified organic veggies with non-certified ones. Jean de Silva has the story.
Baptist University's Hong Kong Organic Resource Centre, or HKORC, visited 425 stores across the territory. 51 of them claimed to be selling organic produce, but failed to show any valid label or certificate. The problem is particularly common in the northern district, but wet markets in the southern Chun Wan and eastern districts were also found to be black spots. And it doesn't stop there. In Sha Tin, a wet market store claimed to sell only organic vegetables from a farm certified by the HKORC. After close inspection, however, the centre found that the stall owner was mixing certified organic vegetables with non-certified ones. The case has been referred to the Customs and Excise Department, and the store owner could face prosecution under the Trade Descriptions Ordinance.
They need to know how to buy genuine organic. The first easiest way to do it is to find whether they got a certificate. They mean organic certificate to show that this is genuine organic, and then whether they got an organic label. If they have it, you can confidently buy these are genuine organic.
The Hong Kong Organic Resource Centre says the price for most locally certified organic produce is $50 or above per kilo, and it wants customers to be aware of unusually cheap vegetables. João Silva, TV News.
The chief executive announced in his policy address that the government would expand an elderly dental program to cover old age living allowance recipients who are 80 or older. But lawmakers have criticized the move, saying only a small group of people will benefit. Rani Samtani reports.
According to the policy address, the Elderly Dental Assistance Program will be expanded in phases from the second half of this year, starting with those aged 80 or above who are old age living allowance recipients. That covers about 130,000 elderly people. They can apply for as much as $13,000 towards dental care. But at the Legislative Council Subcommittee on Poverty meeting today, lawmakers expressed disappointment, arguing that only a small group of elderly people will benefit.
Male life expectancy 81 years old, female 86 years old. Why don't you offer them the service at their early age? Say, after they are 60 years old, if elderly have to suffer from dental problems for 15 years, 20 years before they can get any service, then it's no good. It's so staggering that only those aged 80 are covered under the scheme. And the Kai Fongs are saying that the government is so mean. Can you do a better job?
Secretary for Labor and Welfare Matthew Jung explained that only 13% of the 2,300 registered dentists in Hong Kong have joined the scheme.
This is not the case that we are just working on those over 80 years old. We've got only 300 dentists, so we have to do it by phases. Altogether, 420,000 are on OALA. If we cover all of them, then people have to wait a long time, and that's meaningless.
The government says it will try to encourage more dentists to take part in the program as part of efforts to allow more elderly people to benefit. Rani Samtani, TVB News.
Turning overseas again, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will visit Russia in May to mark the Soviet Union's victory over Nazi Germany in the Second World War. It will be Kim's first overseas trip since taking power in 2011. Meanwhile, a top US diplomat expressed concerns about Pyongyang's nuclear program during her visit to South Korea.
Denuclearization is the first priority where North Korea is concerned. And then, of course, we look forward to ending the division and for the Korean people to be in a unified country under democratic rule without any nuclear weapons, without any threat to the territories. I think that China has played an important leadership role, understands quite well that denuclearization is the first priority here. I think they are taking very important steps in that regard.
Greece's new radical leftist government has fired the first salvo in what's expected to be a tough clash with fellow Eurozone members. New Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras said the government will ignore key budget commitments made by the previous administration that he says are choking the life out of the economy. They include privatizations and reforms in exchange for rescue loans. The hard line prompted a quick warning from the European Union. Local investors are already in panic mode on the prospect that Greece may lose its financial lifeline. Shares in the Athens Stock Exchange have plunged almost 10%, and the country's four main banks lost about a quarter of their value. All right, Tony, over to you for sports.
That's right. It was the semi-finals at the Australian Open, one All-American and one All-Russian. But let's start with the All-American semi-final. And the women's final at the Australian Open will be a clash of the titans, featuring Serena Williams against her old rival Maria Sharapova. Williams weathered a barrage of big serves and heavy ground strokes in the first